The Sixers had their best record through 30 games since the 2000 and 2001 season. And I think we know someone who was on that team, Eric. So I guess my question for you guys, yes. Has this team exceeded your expectations, met them, or is there reason to expect more from the squad?
This year, I would say so far exceeded my expectations. We had so much going on with James. Remember when the season started, we didn't know what was going to happen, whether James was going to play, if he was going to be traded, or if he was going to sit out. Like, it was just so much uncertainty. We felt Embiid would play at an MVP level. Maxey has probably played better than we thought. But I think collectively the team has played better than we thought. So I would say slightly exceeded them, and mostly because of the uncertainty that came with the start of the season. That it was hard to kind of have your expectations higher when you didn't really know how it was going to play out.
I would say they completely exceeded my expectations so far, offensively, defensively, considering we have a completely new coaching staff, had a really turbulent offseason, made a trade, bringing in a bunch of new players right at the start of the season who didn't even spend camp with us. Embiid's having an even better season than he did in his MVP season. Maxey's taken yet another leap. We finally have a deep squad of long players who can shoot and defend. I think it's been a fantastic start to the season. Our record's even more impressive when you factor in Joel's missed, what are we at, 7, 8 games now? So, yeah. I mean, yeah, I couldn't ask for more at this point. I mean, again, we have the going back 30 years or 20 years for record after 30 games. So I can't, I would have been happier with, I guess I would have been happy with even like a few less wins. I'd be happy with like 18 and like 14. I would have been, I don't know about happy, but it wouldn't have surprised me to have a good start, but not a great one. But considering we are where we are right now, any big time trade or trade to shore up some of our, holes, just, I think sky's the limit. We have a lot of potential.
Yeah, and the reason why I didn't really go as much expectation, because I felt with everything that went on, I mean, you still had, outside of James, you still have your best 4 players returning. So
yeah,
you still have that. You know what I'm saying? You still have that, and you still have a reserve player that's still here. So you do have some kind of continuity with that group. Even though it's a new staff, you still have some continuity with that group. So that's where me not feeling like it's just this huge jump, because you have 90% of the guys of the starting group that had the 3rd best record in the league. So you would expect some form of consistency at a higher level, in my opinion. With the sense of urgency being the championship, that you would have some form, and you have the MVP returning. And if he plays on the MVP level, then you're giving yourself a chance to win every night. So that's why I say it's exceeded it, but I don't think it's drastically exceeded it, in my opinion.
And to your point, we pretty much knew that James was not going to be with us. So it wasn't like we had this game plan with James all offseason. Then all of a sudden, 2 weeks in, he demanded a trade, and we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? We knew it wasn't going to be. So like we planned to not have him.
Yes.
We didn't know who was going to get back.
You just didn't know who else was going to be a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. And since the Clippers were pretty much the team we were talking to all offseason, even in that regard, we kind of had an idea who we were going to be getting back in that deal, like more or less. Like we probably knew a couple of the guys for sure we'd be getting back in that deal for salary purposes. The only reason I'd say exceed, I'm just not even going back 20 years, just going back to last year, we have I think a much better record at this point than last year, and we had James. So in that regard alone, just comparing the last 2 seasons, but we had a rocky start to last season. So more so, I guess, than highly exceeded this year. We were way below expectations at the start of last year. So when you look at, I think that's why in my mind, I'm like, oh man, at this point last year, we were borderline 500. So yeah, considering that and considering, what we lost, and it's been kind of an evaluation first half of the season to see what we need and what we need to improve on and who we need to add. So to be 22-10 during an evaluation period, it's pretty good. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Eric, do you see obviously you guys are a very tight-knit group. You've talked about before how tight-knit that squad was in the 2000-2001 season. But do you kind of see a similar kind of cohesion they have, even with the new guys they brought in, Marcus Morris, Pat Bev, obviously Rocco's been with the squad before, but it seems like everyone's just fitting in so nicely. Everyone looks like they're having fun out there.
Yeah, I mean, I see the guys having fun. I see the meshing. It's kind of hard to compare it to us because we had our nucleus for years. You know what I'm saying? They went from the started in 98 and went to 2001. And we had already had back-to-back playoff runs, before then and won the series, lost the series. You know what I'm saying? Lost the Pacers back-to-back years. So it's different, but I see some similarities. I just think that it's tough from the standpoint that we had the consistency of the team, but we also had the consistency of the staff. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think the major difference came in. It wasn't a new system, plugging guys in, and it was getting better at what you're doing right now and what pieces you can add, or And we made changes that year. People forget.
Mm-hmm.
Like the team that we started the season with, had a better record than the team we ended the season with.
Yeah, you had a really hot start.
Yeah.
I just looked, by the way, we're not that far behind we're that far ahead where we were last year, because we went on a win streak in December. At this point last year, we were 20-12 instead of 22-10. So 2 games ahead of last year.
Pretty good. 2 games, 2 games.
Yeah.
That matters.